Hello everyone, welcome. We are going to see today on myspector.com the way to implement the Google sign-in. I am with the Blazor server. The Google sign-in is the fact that you can allow your customer to sign in with a Google account without create an account for your website. It is quite interesting because you just delay to Google all the security thing with accounts. Recently, Google is promoting a new way to authenticate, and I'm going to show you this new way that Google is trying to push. It is not easy. I have spent a lot of time on this. Maybe this is not completely perfect, but you will see the current status. So here I am on myspector.com. This is the web server that I am creating in production with the Blazor server that you can, I invite you to visit it. I have home, about, and login. And here there is a little button here and you see the width, which is changing when I refresh the page. This is a little issue of Google, I think, this thing. I'm not the only one to have this. So if you have this issue, it's normal. I think it looks like a Google issue. You see here that I have only 3 menus. When I will log in, I will have more menu. I click on this button, then I click on my name, and then you will see that I am redirected to my website and I am logged in as Thierry Bremard, and I have more menu here, triggers, strokes, about, and if I click on logout, I will be logged out. So we are going to see together today the code to do this. I will not write the code because it's light complicated. There is different places to interact. I will more do with you a code review. This will be better and easier and less critical if I make some mistake. Very first thing. So you see here there is a Google button. So there is a documentation of Google. Google is speaking about its button. There is 2 frameworks. There is a HTML framework here, and there is a JavaScript framework. The first issue that you encounter with your Blazor server is that because the JavaScript framework is loading a JavaScript file, and you see here the client, and this is modifying the DOM, Blazor is exploded. So you cannot do this. You must use the JavaScript framework and register the JavaScript routine inside the Blazor mechanism, because Blazor server is done with some circuits and it tracks all the objects. So the first issue that you encounter is me. I was totally blocked with the HTML. Go with the JavaScript. So where this is in the code. So in the code, you see I have here a window Google sign-in method that I have created. This is an object that I have created. This is the way Microsoft allow us to make some delegates with the JavaScript to run. And if we look here, this function, where is this? ID in Google's account ID initialize. You see it here, Google account ID initialize. So the thing is that this is an object of the Google framework that I am invoking here. And then I render the button here. So this is in fact in delegate, in a lambda. And this is put inside the Google sign-in object. And then this Google sign-in object, I am going to, so you see here, I am in the page login. So I go to the page login. The page login is there. And here what I do, I put a div with a button Google sign-in that we should see here. Button Google sign-in. So the JavaScript sees where it comes from in the page. So this is just a div with a div ID. And then after the render async, if this is the first render, then I'm registering the way Microsoft says we should register any callback. And here I invoke it. So this is, you see the little tricks. it's not obvious at all to manage to render this crazy button of Google. Then, when I click here, I am redirected to Google. So here, no code at all from my side, because in fact, what you have to understand is that this JavaScript thing, it is initializing the button. The target here, the target URL is dynamically generated. Here, I am in the side of Google. Then I come back. And I'm locked. I'm locked. What you see here is the page fetch structs, but there is a temporary controller that they have created to put a breakpoint so you understand better. So I have a controller. I have a auth callback controller. When you create the button, you say, so here this is in development because I am in dev and I do not have yet the tokens to replace in production. So you define here where Google comes back to you after it has done the login process. So I have a auth callback, which is a controller here. And the thing is that Google is making a post request, and with the Blazor, post request is not so fun to use. So I create a controller. So this is my way of implementing it. Maybe you have another ideas, better ideas to do it. But I create a controller, callback, HTTP posts, then the data is encoded in form data, and I have created a specific object for Google in my own framework to have these different fields: client ID, credential, GCRF, select by. This is crazy that this form class with all these properties is not yet available. I have not found it. So if you know where in the framework I could find it, I don't know. Tell me. So let's put a breakpoint here to understand what is doing Google. So now I am in the development. I am already logged, so I log out, I log in, button, I click on it. Google, now I am on it, but he has understood that he should after redirect to my callback. Now I have clicked and my callback is triggered. My callback is triggered and with some data here that client ID, credential, select by button, etc. So once I am back on my website with a post request, and in fact what I can do is stop and put the network console to understand a little better. Yes, wait. I am going to do this again. So I am logged out, I put the network view, I click on login, I click on my button, and here now you will see a post normally. Yes. Yes, you see here the post, but there is a little issue with Firefox. You do not see yet the parameter because he didn't, the request is pending to have the answer. But what you have to understand is that now we are back to our world with some data of Google, and the goal is to translate this data from Google to our world of Blazor with the Microsoft and the user identity framework. Because in the Blazor side, the users are logged in with this identity framework. So there is some documentation on Google. Verify the Google ID token on your server side. There is different things that you should check in their documentation. So here I am trying to do what they say. I take the cookie, GCRF token, I verify that it is set. Then I take the data, GCRF token, I check that it is set. Then I compare the post body CRF token with the one coming from the body. Then I dump it. Then we take the credential field, the credential data credential. You see the head that it has. It is this thing. This is a GVT token. So the token here can be then validated with API from Google. You must install the correct NuGet package. So you will see the Google package in the Google documentation. So here I am validate the token payload, and once I have the payload, all the data is there. So let's go here. Tac. Tac. Now I have the payload, and let's look at the payload. The payload has all the information. This is my email. Email is verified. Expire is at my first name, my given name. So all I am here. This object payload is in the Google world. And the difficulty of this project on implementing the Google sign-in with the Blazor is this conversion from the Google world to the Microsoft world. And you will see this after. So here there is some comments because I have finished this recently. And now, what is interesting is starting here. I should create what I want to do now is access what is called the HTTP context, and I call this method sign-in async that I am awaiting because there is no synchronous call possible. I must await. And I think this is why, yes, I have an async in this callback only for this. So here, this is just crazy the way it has been designed and the way you should use it. But to register your user in your cookie, so you register it in the other page after. You have these claims. And the claim, in fact, is the Microsoft way of just speaking about key values. These are key values. So this is the name. For the name, this is my name. Then I have a claim type email. Then I attach the value email. Then you can put some role. And for the moment, I have put customer, but I will improve it later on. And here, you can interact with your data. There is no database interaction here. I can put an insert of the Google user in my database or check if it was already done. But so you do not see any database interaction. Me, I'm manually using the database because I don't like the entity framework. And this is creating some objects. This is, in fact, so claim is a key value pair list. You create a Google user. Then this claim principal of Google user. Principal. Then so authentication properties with some stupid values. Then you put HTTP context sign-in async. On this line is in fact clever line to say I want to create a cookie with some security inside because you will see the cookie which is generated. And then I redirect my customer to my page that I want to list all the trucks. So I press F5 and bam, I am redirected to all the trucks. And let's say here. So we have the callback here that Firefox now dumps with all the parameters on the response. So you see headers, request headers, what has been sent by Google. So you see some cookie here. Content type XX form URL encoded, which refers to the attribute for the form I have shown you just before. The request. So you see here all the data coming from the Google and the credential, which is in fact the JVT token here. which is encoding the user ID, the user email, etc. And this is what the controller is taking. Okay? And as a response, you see a set cookie here. Set cookie, which is in fact done by this line of code, which is just HTTP context sign-in async. This is the way to say set cookie. Clever way to do this, but good. What I want to say more is, yes, now we can look at the storage here and see that I have myspector.google auth cookie. Google auth. And this now is the value of this cookie, which has been set by my server code, Blazor server code, to know who I am. Once this is done, how can I access to my name here, which is in another page? The answer is simple. Simple. Let's truxes. Let's stop this. Let's go to the list of truxes. Truxes. Okay. On here, you have something interesting. You have the authorized view control, which is the native way of Blazor server to recognize if you are authorized to view the content which is just below. On here, you see not authorized. Authorized. So here, if I am authorized, I say hello, and there is this magic keyword context user identity name. So I can access to the user name like this because this is going inside the cookie, which is managed by Blazor to understand what is the name. And here you see again the key value here, identity name, which correspond to the, in fact, name is not one of the key value. Name is something which gives the value of a claim which correspond to the name. And because I have created a claim with a name, here I have access to the identity name. But inside this identity, there is a list of claims. And then you have some code. You can put some code here, HTTP context accessor, HTTP context user, etc. You can continue to dig on this thing later on. I do not show all the details, but the idea is to understand how the structure is made, because it's not easy to get it. What could I say more? Is that of course there is all the API client library except for C#. I'm very happy. And that's why I'm doing this video. And write me in the comments if this video is helpful for you, if you are on C# Blazor. And here, I should have begun with this, but I have not done this, but you maybe you already done it. But all these things with the client IDs, etc., come from a Google Cloud console. Here you see I'm on cloud, console cloud. I have created on a client ID, MySpector client, type web application, etc. So I have maybe missed some different elements, but spoken to the most important big steps to do in the process to do this. So write me down in the comments what you think about this video. Destroy this like button. And don't forget to also go on MySpector, because this is a website that I am promoting. I am going to finish now this video by just showing some functionality of the website. So I go here, I click on login, I reconnect now. So I have a list of structures, and the idea of MySpector is to configure some target and to extract some data. So here I have, for example, Alliance International Bonds. I'm going to run it. I have configured it to click to collect data on a target, which is Allianz website. Here you see 90.40 euro, which has been extracted here. And I can put some rules to extract data and to put some notification. And to do this, I have this configuration tool to set up my target. I can say I want to grab this website. Then I want to extract, I put a HTML XPath. I will extract some data. Then I put a extract number, text to number to have a number. Then I put a checker. If the number is less 105, then I will receive an email. And this is the way MyInspector is doing. So you can configure for a given target, you extract data, then you make a check and then you notify. This is this workflow. So write me also down in the so this is currently still under development. There is lots of triggers. The triggers are not yet done, but have some time also with this to help me and to give some suggestion. This is entirely done by myself with the Blazor server technology in C#. I am Thierry Bremer and bye. And don't forget to destroy this like button.